Warning: viewer discretion is advised.
How's it going, guys? White Rabbit here. I'd like to talk to y'all today about who killed Kennedy. Who killed JFK? Now, naturally, the Kennedy assassination is one of the all-time biggest conspiracy theories out there. It's something that most people are at least aware of, and quite frankly, most Americans believe that there was some conspiracy that took place on that day. So those of us who are out there who have made it to this point where we are going out online searching for small YouTubers to give us the facts, to give us the truth, without having to worry about it being somehow manipulated by an outside force or by a third party. We have surely, at some point through our research, have looked at the assassination of JFK and have formed our own conclusions as to who actually pulled the trigger. Now, if you research the assassination of JFK, it is a rabbit hole if there ever was one. There are all kinds of different things that you can look at to try and figure out who pulled the trigger on that day. Who made the kill shot that killed Kennedy? Well, that's not actually what I'm going to talk about today. What I want to talk about is far more important than who pulled the trigger that killed Kennedy. What I want to talk about is who ordered the kill. That is what we really need to investigate. And in my personal opinion, I don't think that there is a single mainstream source out there that goes any further than who actually pulled the trigger. And that's what you call controlled opposition, or framing how people think. Because if you get people thinking about a conspiracy, or if people start thinking about a conspiracy, and then you focus the attention instead of who ordered the kill to who pulled the trigger, then you're taking attention away from the actual criminals who were behind the whole plot and putting it on an individual, making it seem as though it was an individual or a small group like the mafia or someone who was responsible for killing Kennedy. Well, I submit to you that what really happened was far more devious than that. I believe wholeheartedly that the assassination of JFK was ordered by the secret Freemason occult members like the Illuminati. Now, in order to come to this conclusion, the single most important piece of evidence that you can look at is Dealey Plaza, the place where JFK was shot. You have to remember, the occult always do things according to symbology and ritual. And if you look at Dealey Plaza, there is symbolism all over the place. And that's what I'm going to be going over with you guys today in this video. I took it upon myself to take a trip all the way to Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas, specifically so I could put together this video for you guys. So this is going to be a pretty heavy video. Now, some of the things that I might mention in this video might go right over your head, and that's okay. That means you're learning. So for some of you, you might want to watch this and then go do some of your own research on the occult and then come back and re-watch this video. But at any rate, let's get into it. This is a statue of George Bannerman Dealey. Dealey Plaza in Dallas is named after him. He was a 33rd degree Freemason of the Southern jurisdiction of the Scottish Rite. Right off the bat, that should be ringing some bells for you guys. Now, Dealey Plaza is located in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas is just south of the 33 degree parallel. That's no accident, guys. And I could make 10 more videos on top of this one just talking about the satanic symbolism and occult backgrounds engulfed in Dallas, Texas. This plaque found in Dealey Plaza clearly states that Dealey Plaza is the birthplace of Dallas, and it would be reasonable to assume that when Dallas was first founded, the original settlers may have assumed that they were in fact settling on the 33rd degree parallel. Dealey Plaza was built upon the site of the very first home, courthouse, post office, store, and fraternal lodge in Dallas. This fraternal lodge just so happened to be the first in the state of Texas as well. Trinity River lies at the foot of Dealey Plaza. Now, 3 is a very important number to the occult, as I'm sure most of you are fully aware of, and it is found all throughout Dealey Plaza. Among other things, the number 3 represents Poseidon, aka Neptune. And before flood-controlled measures were put in, Trinity River used to flood regularly, and as a result, killed many, many people. These deaths that occurred from the Trinity River flooding mark the beginning of the site's association with death. Dealey Plaza is made up of 3 streets: Commerce, Elm, and Main Street. They form a kind of trident, creating another link between Dealey Plaza and Neptune. It is also laid out in a truncated pyramid of the Temple of Initiation of the Mysteries, with the capstone missing. The capstone is missing because the top of the pyramid that the 3 streets form is cut off by the railroad overpass. It makes up 3 pyramids, 1 big one and 2 small ones, and there are 3 eyes over the pyramids, which are the 3 lanes that go under the railroad underpass. Dealey Plaza is really an occult temple of the mystery religion of the so-called fraternal orders, which is really the ancient mystery religion of Babylon. Now, in Dealey Plaza, right here, you will find an obelisk. I'm sure you all realize what the obelisk represents. It represents Osiris's male anatomy. Now, on top of the obelisk is a flame, the signature of the philosophers of fire, the eternal flame. Fire is the symbol of intellect. These are known as the philosophers of fire. The obelisk is also sectioned off into 14 blocks. 14 blocks make up the obelisk. 14 represents the number of pieces that Osiris's body was cut up into after being killed by Seth and spread to the far reaches of the desert land, before Isis went and tracked it down and through this mystical intercourse became pregnant with the child Horus. Osiris represents the sun. The sun is the manifestation of the power of God taught in the mysteries. The God in the mysteries, again, is intellect. Osiris represents the doctrine. Now, the pool next to the obelisk represents Isis, whereas Isis represents the church. Church reflects the doctrine, does it not? Isis is the feminine, the moon, if you will. Osiris is the masculine, the sun, the moon reflecting the pure light of her master. And through this mystical union of the church and doctrine is produced the child Horus, which is the full body of initiates of the secret fraternity Illuminati, secret order. All right, so why is this important? Well, like I said, the occult are obsessed with symbolism and symbology and ritual and all this stuff. This stuff isn't here by accident, guys. It's not. It all has meaning. Do you really think that the city planners just go around and randomly put things in places? No, they're there for a reason. Do you think they are accidentally just putting all of this occult symbolism randomly in a site dedicated to the origins of Dallas? No, it's all there for a reason. The obelisk, which represents Osiris, the doctrine, is reflected in the pool, which represents Isis, the church reflecting the doctrine. And it just so happens that this reflection seems to be pointing directly at the 6th floor window. Yep, the 6th floor window where Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly shot the president from. Look at all the windows on this building. Now look at the windows on the 6th floor. The 6th floor is the only floor on this entire building that has square windows. And the square windows are found where? in the corners of the building, separated by domes. And who raises his right arm to the square? If I lost some of you guys, you need to do more research on the occult. Now, what are these columns and pillars that we see in Dealey Plaza? There's one here, and there's two more over here and over here. What are these? These are quarters of the round stone temple of the sun, just like Stonehenge. These 4 quarters represent the 4 seasons. This is significant as it indicates a branch of the mystery school, Mystery of Babylon, who worshipped the sun, or the god that is represented by the sun, which in all cases ends up to be the light, or Lucifer, who is also known as Osiris or Ra. In all actuality, these are all symbols for the intellect. They believe that man was held captive in the Garden of Eden by an unjust and cruel God, bound by the chains of ignorance, and that man was set free by Lucifer through his agent Satan with the gift of intellect, and through the use of intellect, man himself will become God. This is what they believe. Why do you think they keep it a secret? Why do you think that they have the windows blacked out on all of their Masonic lodges? It's because they worship Satan. And that's why they don't tell people that until they get to the higher degrees of Masonry. Dealey Plaza is a temple of the sun for the mystery religion of Babylon. Alright, now let's examine one of the streets, namely the street that Kennedy was assassinated on. Its name is Elm Street. Elm Street is where traditionally they have posted the notice. Elm is also very useful to these occult groups when they are doing magic, and it works well in dark practices, especially in spells that can bring irreversible material damage. It is known to dull the senses and cause depression or darkness, and is often associated with dealing with shadows. Before Kennedy was assassinated, Elm Street in Dallas was infamous for all of the murders that took place all down that road. And something that many of you may find even more fascinating is that the elm tree is also associated with Saturn, who is often depicted going around and eating babies. Dealey Plaza is also a grove. The sacrifices were always committed in a grove, on a stone altar, when the sun has reached its zenith. When Kennedy was shot, it wasn't 12 o'clock noon, but on that latitude, the sun was directly overhead. Now, let's talk a little bit about Hiram Abiff. According to Masonic legend, Hiram Abiff was the only man on Earth who knew the secrets of the Master Mason, including the most important secret of all, the Grand Masonic Word, aka the actual name of God. Keep in mind, in the occult, knowing the name of a spirit is key to having its power. Hiram promised to reveal these secrets, including the name of God, upon completion of the temple. One day, Hiram went into the unfinished Holy of Holies, supposedly, at noon to worship and to draw up plans for the workmen to follow the next day. When he was leaving, supposedly he was accosted by 3 men in succession. It is important to bear in mind that Hiram Abiff of Freemasonry is not a historical figure, and is certainly not a biblical one either. Hiram Abiff actually represents Osiris, the Egyptian sun god. In the Masonic initiation, they reenact the legend of Hiram Abiff, where he was supposedly attacked and hit in the back, or chest or torso area, the throat, and the head. These are the exact same wounds suffered by Kennedy. Kennedy's assassination was a ritual assassination done in the temple when the sun was at its highest, in the grove, on a rock. He was the sacrificed king. The exact reason why Kennedy was killed is still widely up for debate. But the one message that it sent that day was heard loud and clear by those in the know, and that is that no one can escape their authority, which begs the question, who is safe from them? Well, the answer is anyone who is not afraid of them. not that you won't be killed, you might be killed, but in that you are their worst enemy. I'm talking specifically about Christians. As Christians, there is nothing that they can do to us that can hurt us. Even if they were to kill us, we as Christians know that we immediately wake up in heaven. So even by killing us, they would simply be setting us free. And that is one of the many reasons why the occult and the New World Order and the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, why the occult are so insistent upon creating a one world religion and also eradicating Christians. Now, there are many more symbols and symbology and all kinds of different things surrounding the assassination of Kennedy that I haven't gotten into in this video. I mean, there are even dragons on top of the old courthouse. Throughout history, these orders have been known as the Brotherhood of the Snake or the Brotherhood of the Dragon. The courthouse has dragons on top of it. These are the symbols of the Brotherhood of the Dragon. But what I want to move to lastly here is signs, clear signs and symbology that just absolutely screams to anyone who has any understanding of these symbols and what they represent, just screams to us of these secret occult societies taking credit for the assassination of Kennedy. First, I'll show you Kennedy's grave. Do you notice anything in particular shouting out at you? The eternal flame. Yes, the eternal flame. They put it right on Kennedy's grave. How sick is that? Well, it gets even worse and even more obvious. This is the Kennedy Memorial. It's located right next to Dealey Plaza, behind the old courthouse. It's a cube, ladies and gentlemen, and a cube is Saturn symbolism, satanic symbolism, and the slits in the cube represent Kennedy's reign cut short. I mean, seriously, think about it from a logical perspective. What the hell does a cube have to do with Kennedy? Nothing. It is a symbol of Saturn for the occult Saturn worshippers who make up the elite. Saturn is another symbol for Lucifer. Are you getting it? It is all relevant. And the occult are obsessed with symbolism. That's why all of this is here. Not just before Kennedy was shot, but after as well. So there you go, guys. I hope this video was informative for you. If you don't agree with me that Kennedy was assassinated by the occult, I hope you at the very least learned a lot about the occult in this video and how many different religions out there, like the Masons or the New Age movement or other religions like that, I hope you realize now a little bit more about what they actually stand for. In one of my future videos I've had planned for a while, I'm going to be going through all the different occult symbols that I can find, and I'm going to explain the meaning behind each and every one of them. And hopefully that will clear up any other questions that you guys might have from watching this video as well. But if I lost you on some of this stuff, please go do some research on the occult, like I said, and maybe come back and rewatch this video and it might make a lot more sense to you. But thank you guys so much for watching. Special thanks to all of my new subscribers and everybody who has been sharing my videos. Thank you guys very much. That really means a lot to me. It's all about spreading the truth. And the more people that watch these videos and the more people that are exposed to the truth, the more I feel like I am doing my job. So thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks, and God bless.